That's a good question. I was inspired by love and hate, I would say, two very conflicting emotions. The love bit was the love of the medium, which I've already said, and hopefully that comes across. The hate is the fact that some of these great filmmakers from around the world are not given their dues. You know, film history hasn't been meritocratic. You know, the films with the big marketing budgets behind them seem to be remembered more than films should be remembered for their quality, their insights, their beauty. And so the hatred of the on-level playing field, the degree of racism by omission, I would say, in film history, and also a sort of self-regard film critics around the world who always talk about sort of their films as the best films, you know, so a certain anger at that, I would say. Was there a question here?
I want to know how you met, how this collaboration came about.
I moved to Scotland about 22 years ago from London, and a good friend who's now a great producer said, "You should meet Mark Cousins, he's good." And I did, and so we worked together and we became friends. And then when I read Mark's book, I thought, not only is he good, he's brilliant.
And John was head of arts at BBC, so John was doing brilliant work in this area, in the arts documentary area anyway, so there was a certain overlap of sensibility. Yes?
You set up Hollywood as a romantic and then bounced off, off the things that were not. What about Hollywood before the production code, with Mae West and,
Sure.
where they actually could be sexy?
Sure.
And
the question is, I set up Hollywood as romantic, capital R, and what about before the production code? I think it's not only Hollywood that's romantic, Bollywood as well is. Most mainstream cinemas around the world have got that romantic impulse, and as I said a few days ago, I personally love romantic art. I think it's great. So it's not in any pejorative sense. Even before the production code, even though it was all a bit spicier and saucier with Mae West and that, it still had a romantic impulse, by which I mean that it was emotionally straining, optimistic, a certain sense of utopia in all these films around the world. So I think it's still romantic, but of course the production code period made it more coded and hidden in some way. We're going to have to finish. I'm going to take two more and then we'll do our photo if that's okay. Hi.
Just a very quick question. With the book, which I read a long time
Excuse me.
ago, with this coming out, will there be an extension to the book? Will there be a sort of a second edition with updates?
It costs quite a lot of money to update it, so what we've done is there's a new edition and there's a front, new 800 words at the beginning saying here's what's happened since we made that. Any last comments or questions? Yes? I would actually. Now there's one being made here. There's I think a 6-part history of documentary being made here at the moment. I think they've made 3 bits of it so far. I saw some of it the other day. With Kevin MacDonald, I did a book called Imagining Reality, the Faber Book of Documentary, which was indeed a history of documentary, and that's where I first discovered the great Japanese films of the 70s that we looked at yesterday, and hopefully found them moving. So yes, it would be very interesting. I'd love to do that. Okay, so shall we do our picture, John? Shall we do it outside, or I think?
Yeah,
Or we can do it in the theater too.
Can we do it here?
But then people would need to squeeze in a bit, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Would you all mind just?
Should be in this
can we have
photo.
2 pictures? Will you indulge me? Just first of all, the people who've been here for every screening, if they came first, and then everybody else who'd like to, please join us. And while that's happening, I just want to do a couple of. Well, thank you all for coming to these screenings, but particularly thank you to Jill, Mark's partner, for letting him travel around the world and leave and make this, and to Helen, who's here, who helped us so much in the crucial Los Angeles and New York shoot. Thank you, and got the film here.